Hey everyone, and welcome back to Breaking the Fourth Wall of Public Education. Today we had a current event we wanted to talk about, which was an article posted in Texas out of Houston that is how Houston is now changing the pay scale for teachers to be based on test scores, which is, to just start this off, an absurd notion. David, we need to talk about this because we've mentioned in the past how salary schedules are really misunderstood by people, and this is going to be epically misunderstood by people. So we need to clarify what a horrible idea this is and why. So how about you start us off, David?
Gosh. Okay, Kev. All right. So, well, we were just looking at a chart that went through the pay scales, and it went up to 104,000, which was pretty cool. If you're
sounds good
too, but if you're just kind of on the bottom and you're just starting out, I think it was around 70, 65, 70, Kevin,
60 something, yeah.
Something. And then there's like there were like 6 or 7 other steps between exemplary too, where it went up about $5,000 every time you did something right, I suppose. And we were discussing how no one's getting past like the third stage. You're going to make $75,000. Just deal with it. That's your salary. I don't care how good you are. There'll be like 2 people in the whole district making that top amount. That's already insane. And if anybody can understand where we're going with this, you might see where we're heading. This is pretty funny because basing people's salaries on standardized test scores is it's such a bad idea because you can't control the variables. It's just, it's not something.
And beyond just the obvious, you can't control the variable problem. The issue with this, and by the way, if you're listening, this is the plan in Houston come this fall. So the 23-24 school year. This isn't effect in a month or so, assuming that it passed, but it sounds like it will very quickly. And beyond just the obvious problem with that is that, one, you're robbing teachers of their autonomy even more than they already are. Correct. Because now they're completely beholden to test scores, which, as we've already said, we have so many variables that we can't account for it. We already teach to test to a certain degree already, and we've already seen how much that hasn't helped.
Exactly.
We end up with students who know how to take a test but not know how to critically think.
And that's exactly the point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and soon we're going to have teachers who only, we're already on the way to that, but we're really going to have teachers who can only teach to a test instead of being able to, teach kids life skills, financial literacy, anything that they need to know to succeed in life.
Well, in fact, I think that's where we've been heading for a really long time. Things like the Danielson framework, which is in New York, and I think it's in California too.
Oh, yeah. And I hate it.
Then, I hate it too. And then, Common Core and a lot of the lack of autonomy that has been going on in schools. If you've been teaching, you do know that you do teach in a box. You have that aim, do now thing where you have a mini lesson, and then you have your little work period, and then you have a review, and then you have to have your summary. And you know what I mean. And if it doesn't go like that every day, you did something wrong. But that's teaching to a test. It's the same type of thing because there's no real creativity happening when you're just teaching someone to take an exam. And you're going to find that teachers are simply going to review and review and review exams and do test-taking skills and test-taking strategies with their students so that they get more money. I honestly think that'll be what happens. And you're going to just take the education system from we think it is, which is cognitive thinking, to just it's a very frightening idea. Kevin, if you want to expound on that and then add to the next point, I'm sure you can.
Yeah, definitely. That what we're saying here is the fact that, of course, if you read the article and the reasoning by the guy, I can't remember his name, but the guy who's promoting this and pushing it through the school board and whatever, is that the idea is to make sure that everyone's more uniform. Again, the whole standardization thing. Again, the logic is sound. The reasoning is not. And we have to split hairs here. The logic makes sense. Yes, I understand about having, again, common core, for instance, having things across curricular, having everyone teaching the same thing around the same time. That's all fine. The logic makes sense. But the reason of, we have to we're paying teachers more if they just do what we tell them to do. I don't. That's the problem. You're having us remove our autonomy and just teach to the test that you created without our input, and hope that things get better because of it. It's not even This is not even a Band-Aid. This is like I'm going to test this entirely new surgical procedure on something that's never been tested, and we know it's not. We highly doubt that it's going to work, but we're going to do it anyway.
Red flags in this are amazing.